Want to speak real German from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at GermanPod101.com. You are at a train station where you're attempting to buy an express ticket from a ticket machine. Which option should you choose to buy an express ticket? Which option should you choose to buy an express ticket? The option on the bottom left is for an express ticket.
Expresszugticket.
You are at a train station where you've just bought an express ticket. Which train car, row, and seat number are you in? Which train car, row, and seat number are you in? The ticket says that you're in train car number 1 in the 8th row in seat C.
Wagen 1, 8. Reihe, Sitz C.
You are at a train station where you're reading the train schedule for an express ticket that you've just bought. On which days are there no express trains running? On which days are there no express trains running? There are no express trains running on public holidays and the third Sunday of every month.
Feiertage an jedem 3. Sonntag im Monat.
You are on a platform at a train station where you're waiting for your train. Suddenly, a message appears on the display. What does the message on the display mean? What does the message on the display mean? The display reads, "The next train will not stop."
Achtung, Zugdurchfahrt.
Want to speak real German from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at GermanPod101.com. You are at a train station where you're looking for the best exit to catch a taxi. Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? Which exit should you take to get to the taxi rank? You should take the east exit in order to get to the taxi rank.
Ostausgang.
Want to speak real German from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at GermanPod101.com.
Ich heiße Laura, sehr erfreut. Hi, I'm Laura, nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic German expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to introduce ourselves in German. We'll start speaking right away, but first, it's important to clarify that in German there is a difference between the formal and the informal language. Let's first see how German people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Schön, dich kennenzulernen. Hi, I'm Laura. Nice to meet you. Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Schön, dich kennenzulernen. Start by saying Hallo, ich heiße, then say your name. Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Finally say Schön, dich kennenzulernen. Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Schön, dich kennenzulernen. And now, let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Guten Tag, ich heiße Laura Meyer. Schön, Sie kennenzulernen. Good day, I'm Laura Meyer. Nice to meet you. Guten Tag, ich heiße Laura Meyer. Schön, Sie kennenzulernen. So, what has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at these expressions together. Hallo has been substituted with the formal greeting Guten Tag, German for good day. Ich heiße Laura has not been changed. Ich heiße simply means I am. However, during a formal self-introduction, we also say our last name. So I said Laura Meyer. Here, you would say your full name. Finally, pay attention to the ending. We went from dich kennenzulernen to Sie kennenzulernen. What is changing is the German word for you. In a formal sentence, we use the more polite word Sie. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in German is Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Schön, dich kennenzulernen. The formal way to introduce yourself is Guten Tag, ich heiße Laura Meyer. Schön, Sie kennenzulernen. Now it's time for Laura's insights. When you introduce yourself, it's a good habit to shake hands. If you're not sure whether to use schön dich kennenzulernen or schön Sie kennenzulernen, just say simply sehr erfreut, as I said at the beginning of this lesson. If you use the correct sentence with German people, they're definitely going to be impressed. Today, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Fertig? Are you ready? Los, so let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It's just one word. Danke. Danke. Danke means thank you. When saying thank you very much, you just need to add sehr. Danke, sehr. Sehr means a lot. So danke sehr is like saying thank you very much. During the last lesson, we discussed the informal and the formal way of speaking German. Danke is the casual way to thank someone. If you want to be more formal, there is another phrase you should use. Ich danke Ihnen. Ich danke Ihnen. Let's break this phrase down. Ich is I, and danke means thanks. Ihnen is a formal word for you in the dative case. Notice that we don't use Sie as in the last lesson. We will discuss German pronouns in more depth in a later lesson. The full sentence once again. Ich danke Ihnen. How do you answer? It's easy. Here are 2 different ways to do it. The first is bitte schön. Bitte schön. Bitte schön can be used with just about anybody. The other way to say you're welcome is the expression gern geschehen. Gern geschehen. Literally, this phrase means I liked it to happen or happened with pleasure, but it has become a common and polite way to respond to someone thanking you. So when someone says Danke to us, we can simply reply with Bitte schön or Gern geschehen. Now it's time for Laura's insights. If you're not sure about whether to use Danke or Ich danke Ihnen, keeping it simple is always your safest bet. You don't have to worry about formal or informal situations. Danke can be used with just about anyone, anywhere and at any time. In the last lesson, we learned how to be grateful to people by saying Danke. In this lesson, we learned some of the most common greetings used in Germany. Fertig? Are you ready? Los! So let's start. The most used informal greeting is Hallo. Hallo. Hallo means hi or hello. We should only use this greeting with friends or relatives. The most used formal greetings will change depending on the time of day. Let's start with Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Literally, Guten Tag means good day. As a rule of thumb, we can use Guten Tag only during the daytime, from late morning until early evening. In the morning we say Guten Morgen, good morning. Guten Morgen. During the evening we say Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Tag, Morgen and Abend is German for day, morning and evening, respectively. Easy, right? What should you say when you leave? German people usually say Auf Wiedersehen when leaving in a formal situation. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen means goodbye. If we say goodbye to friends or our relatives, we use the informal word Tschüss. Tschüss. Now you can greet people in many different ways in German. Let's review them all again. First, the greetings. Informally, we simply say Hallo. Formally, use Guten Morgen in the morning, Guten Tag in the afternoon, and Guten Abend in the evening. When leaving in a formal situation, we say Auf Wiedersehen. And in an informal situation, it's Tschüss. It's easy, isn't it? Now it's time for Laura's insights. Due to a huge variety of dialects in Germany, you might hear many different greeting phrases depending on the area. In Austria and in the Catholic southern part of Germany, they even say Grüß Gott, which means greetings to God. In the past, people from the north could barely talk to people from the south, since they spoke very different languages. But nowadays, if you use these common phrases, then everyone will understand you, I'm sure. During the next lesson, we learn the meaning of the phrase Sprechen Sie Englisch? Do you already know it? In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in German, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here's the informal way to say it. Sprichst du Englisch? Sprichst du Englisch? In German, verbs change depending on the pronoun that is used. Please notice the word du in the middle of the sentence. Remember that this is the informal way to say you. The first word is sprichst, which means to speak. Because it is referring to du, it is conjugated to du sprichst. If you ask a question in German, you change the du sprichst to the interrogative form sprichst du. And you probably recognize English to be English. Sprichst du Englisch? To learn how to properly conjugate verbs like sprechen, please look at our Absolute Beginner series on GermanPod101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there. We are now going to make the sentence formal. First, we need to use the formal version of you, which is Sie. If we change the word for you, we will conjugate the verb differently. It becomes sprechen instead of sprichst, like in the informal version. Everything else stays the same. Sprechen Sie Englisch? Sprechen Sie Englisch? Adding entschuldigen Sie, excuse me, the sentence becomes even more polite. Entschuldigen Sie, sprechen Sie Englisch? Entschuldigen Sie, sprechen Sie Englisch? The responses you will receive could be one of these three. Ja, yes. Ja. Ein bisschen, a little. Ein bisschen. Nein, ich spreche nicht Englisch. No, I don't speak English. Nein, ich spreche nicht Englisch. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say nicht after the verb sprechen. Notice also that the verb spreche is slightly different than sprechen. Remember, the verb changes depending on the pronoun used. We are now talking about ich, German for I. Thus, I do not speak is ich spreche nicht. Now it's time for Laura's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. German people study other European languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute English with Italienisch for Italian, Russisch for Russian, Spanish for Spanish, Französisch for French. In the last lesson, we learned the phrase Entschuldigen Sie, sprechen Sie Englisch? Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the word Entschuldigen Sie, which means excuse me in formal German. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use Entschuldigen Sie and other words when apologizing in German. We should use Entschuldigen Sie in formal situations, such as when we are ordering something in bars or restaurants. For example, Entschuldigen Sie, einen Kaffee bitte. Excuse me, a coffee please. We can also use it when asking a question. Entschuldigen Sie, wo ist der Ausgang? Excuse me, where's the exit please? Sometimes we also hear people say bitte, which means the same thing when you want to draw somebody's attention. We use this phrase if we want to be polite. Bitte. The informal way to say excuse me is entschuldige. Entschuldige. Just like entschuldigen Sie, we can use entschuldige when asking a question or when apologizing. We can also use the word Entschuldigung if you are not sure whether to use the formal or informal way. All of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use a different phrase. That phrase is es tut mir leid. It means I'm sorry and can be used in both formal and informal situations. Es tut mir leid. First, we have es or it. Next, we have the German word for to do, conjugated for the pronoun es, tut. The word mir is German for me. Finally, we have leid, literally meaning sorrow. Es tut mir leid. Now it's time for Laura's insights. Please remember that in Germany, if you accidentally bump into someone, we don't say I'm sorry, es tut mir leid. Instead, we say entschuldigen Sie, entschuldige or Entschuldigung.
When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1, optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends, but you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2, consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3, use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4, study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight, but with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. Give it a try now. Sign up for your account. Just click the link in the description.
Ein Mann und eine Frau schauen sich das Menü in einem Restaurant an. Was wird der Mann bestellen?
Was wirst du bestellen?
Die Pizza sieht lecker aus. Ich denke, die nehme ich.
Ich hatte gestern schon Pizza, also
Okay, dann, wie wäre es mit Hamburger?
hört sich toll an. Das nehme ich.
Was wird der Mann bestellen? Ein Mann und eine Frau schauen sich das Menü in einem Restaurant an. Was wird der Mann bestellen?
Was wirst du bestellen?
Die Pizza sieht lecker aus. Ich denke, die nehme ich.
Ich hatte gestern schon Pizza, also
Okay, dann, wie wäre es mit Hamburger?
hört sich toll an. Das nehme ich.
Ein Mann ruft beim Arzt an. Um wie viel Uhr sollte er in der Arztpraxis sein? Hallo, wie kann ich Ihnen helfen?
Um wie viel Uhr schließen Sie heute?
Wir schließen um 18 Uhr, aber bitte kommen Sie vor 17:30 Uhr vorbei.
Okay, danke schön.
Um wie viel Uhr sollte er in der Arztpraxis sein? Ein Mann ruft beim Arzt an. Um wie viel Uhr sollte er in der Arztpraxis sein? Hallo, wie kann ich Ihnen helfen?
Um wie viel Uhr schließen Sie heute?
Wir schließen um 18 Uhr, aber bitte kommen Sie vor 17:30 Uhr vorbei.
Okay, danke schön.
Ein Junge liest in seinem Tagebuch. Was war das Erste, was der Junge heute getan hat?
Das Wetter war toll heute. Ich bin heute Nachmittag zum Schwimmbad gegangen. Und abends bin ich ins Kino gegangen. Ich habe auch den ganzen Morgen gelernt. Heute war nicht übel.
Was war das Erste, was der Junge heute getan hat? Ein Junge liest in seinem Tagebuch. Was war das Erste, was der Junge heute getan hat?
Das Wetter war toll heute. Ich bin heute Nachmittag zum Schwimmbad gegangen. Und abends bin ich ins Kino gegangen. Ich habe auch den ganzen Morgen gelernt. Heute war nicht übel.
Eine Frau und ein Mann schauen sich eine Fotografie an. Nach welchem Foto schauen sie? Das ist ein Foto des Fußballteams, in dem Ihr Sohn spielt, oder? Welcher davon ist Ihr Sohn?
Dieser hier.
Oh, er ist der Größte.
Ja, er ist sogar größer als ich.
Nach welchem Foto schauen Sie? Eine Frau und ein Mann schauen sich eine Fotografie an. Nach welchem Foto schauen Sie? Das ist ein Foto des Fußballteams, in dem Ihr Sohn spielt, oder? Welcher davon ist Ihr Sohn?
Dieser hier.
Oh, er ist der Größte.
Ja, er ist sogar größer als ich.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.